Today is Monday, September 11th. What to know about a devastating earthquake in Morocco, and the latest on Hurricane Lee, which is still heading toward the U.S. Also, how America's leaders will remember the victims and heroes of the 9/11 terror attacks 22 years later. Plus, a major court ruling about the White House trying to influence social media companies. New allegations against The Tonight Show. The U.S. Open champ is the youngest American to win it since Serena Williams, and how Beyoncé is causing a business boom. Those stories and more news to know next. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in around 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. We start today with a race to find survivors. A natural disaster has ripped apart villages in the North African country of Morocco. The 6.8 magnitude earthquake struck on Friday about 47 miles southeast of the tourism hub of Marrakesh. The USGS says it was the strongest earthquake to hit the area in more than a century. As of this morning, we know it killed more than 2,100 people. But the death toll is expected to go up even more. Hospitals are overwhelmed with injured people and buildings are still crumbling. The search and rescue effort is apparently especially difficult through Morocco's mountainous terrain. Plus, cell phone networks have stopped working in the hardest hit areas, and there have been aftershocks. Overall, the UN says more than 300,000 people have been impacted by this disaster. Here in the U.S., Secretary of State Antony Blinken says the American government is awaiting word from Morocco about how to help. The UN also says it offered support, and it has thousands of rescuers ready to go. Morocco's king ordered 3 days of national mourning starting yesterday. Hurricane Lee is barreling through the Atlantic Ocean, possibly on a path toward the U.S. As of this morning, Lee is a Category 3 storm. That means it's lost some of the steam it had once as a Cat 5, but meteorologists still consider it dangerous. And it's expected to become even stronger today, likely getting back up to a Cat 4. Dangerous surf and rip currents have started to impact parts of the southeastern U.S., and the National Hurricane Center says those conditions will worsen and spread northward along much of the East Coast over the next couple of days, no matter what happens with the track of the storm. At this point, though, the exact path is still uncertain. So meteorologists say anyone from the southeastern U.S. to New England should keep a close eye on this storm for the next few days. Some of the most powerful leaders in the world got together in India over the weekend for the Group of 20 summit, and they reached some common ground on a few key issues. Like they agreed to triple renewable energy and increase money for climate change-related disasters. G20 leaders also announced a major international infrastructure project to connect India, the Middle East, and Europe with railways, shipping lines, high-speed data cables, and energy pipelines. The U.S. has apparently been pushing this project as a way to counterbalance the growing influence of China. Separately, Biden unveiled new reforms and investments in the World Bank, which he says could unlock hundreds of billions of dollars in grants and loans for the developing world, another way in which leaders are offering an alternative to China. Also, as expected, diplomats did address the war in Ukraine, though they did not actually condemn Russia for the invasion. Instead, the official joint declaration acknowledged that, quote, there were different views and assessments of the situation. Now, President Biden says he'll continue making the case for Ukraine, even if everyone is not on the same page. After leaving India, Biden then traveled to Vietnam. There, he announced new deals on semiconductors and minerals. And Vietnam lifted the U.S. to the highest diplomatic status alongside China and Russia. The new status is symbolic, meant to give American companies reassurance that the relationship between the U.S. and Vietnam will stay friendly, especially for manufacturing, as businesses look outside of China. It is a day of mourning and remembrance here in the U.S. Today marks exactly 22 years since the September 11th terror attacks. President Biden has made the unusual decision to spend the day in Alaska, which is on his way back from Vietnam, instead of New York City or Virginia, where the attacks happened. He will speak in front of 1,000 first responders and their families at a military base in Anchorage. But Vice President Harris will go to the National September 11th Memorial and Museum in New York City, while First Lady Jill Biden will join Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin at the National 9/11 Pentagon Memorial in Arlington, Virginia. And finally, Second Gentleman Doug Emhoff will visit Shanksville, Pennsylvania, for a ceremony honoring the victims of the only one of the 4 planes that did not reach its intended target on 9/11 because passengers tried to overpower the hijackers. There will be many other vigils, ceremonies, memorials, tribute runs, and other events happening around the country to commemorate the day. Anyone paying their respects at the World Trade Center in New York City will notice a new addition this year. A theater complex is officially opening next week, 2 decades after it was first envisioned. Today, the Perelman Performing Arts Center will hold an open house for the families of people who died on 9/11 and first responders. Though after that, it won't really be about 9/11. As the center's executive director put it, quote, "The Performing Arts Center is here for people to celebrate life and really celebrate the resilience of New Yorkers and of the country." The Art Center was built largely with private donations. Ticket prices start at $40, and free performances are planned in the lobby, which will be open every day. We have more news for you coming up, but first, a quick break for our sponsor. AG1 is a daily foundational nutrition supplement that supports whole body health, and it has become part of my everyday. I drink it each morning. I actually first gave AG1 a try because I too had heard about it on other podcasts and was really intrigued. So I tried it, and I reached out to partner with them because I find it really beneficial. So here we are. AG1 makes me feel that I'm covering my nutritional bases with a science-driven formulation of vitamins, probiotics, and whole food-sourced nutrients. It supports my energy, focus, immune system, gut health, and more. And I'm not the only one who thinks so. AG1 has helped millions of mornings begin on a healthier foundation. And you're getting all of this for a lot less money than if you took all these individual supplements. Each serving of AG1 costs less than $3 a day. So if you're looking for a simpler, effective investment to your health, try AG1 and get 5 free AG1 travel packs and a free 1-year supply of vitamin D with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/newsworthy. That's drinkag1.com/newsworthy. Check it out. The U.S. Space Force launched new early warning satellites into space over the weekend. And as Bloomberg reports, the satellites were specifically designed to track American adversaries in space. They'll keep an eye on other satellites that might reposition themselves to get a better look at American spacecraft or even carry out counter-space attacks. They're apparently a first-of-its-kind addition to ground-based radar and low Earth orbit satellites. Though Space Force is not saying much else about their capabilities since the details are classified. Well, some are calling it the most significant First Amendment case in the internet age. A federal appeals court ruled that the White House, top government officials, and the FBI likely violated the First Amendment by trying to guide the conversation on social media. Specifically, it said they improperly influenced tech companies' decisions to remove or suppress posts about COVID-19 and elections that were apparently misleading or false. The 3-judge panel said the issue is the government just doesn't have a clear authority over private companies. And in a few cases, the judges said the White House sent social media companies intimidating messages with threats of consequences. So with that, they decided to limit much of the Biden administration, including the CDC and FBI, from communicating with social media companies at all. Though the White House has defended its actions, saying it only wanted to protect public health, safety, and security, and never forced the companies to do anything. The Justice Department is apparently still considering how to respond to the ruling. A late-night host known for being goofy, easygoing, and welcoming is now accused of being erratic behind the scenes. Rolling Stone published a report about The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. The magazine says it spoke to 50 former and current employees about a so-called toxic work environment. Some say the higher-ups, including Fallon, bullied and intimidated them. They say Fallon specifically was inebriated and hungover during working hours, and that, quote, "you never knew which Jimmy we were going to get." Well, the same day Rolling Stone published the article, sources tell Deadline that Fallon and the latest showrunner held a call with the current staff. And on that call, Fallon apparently admitted to doing embarrassing things in the past, but he also said, quote, "I want this show to be fun. It should be inclusive for everybody." And since then, several Tonight Show employees told Entertainment Tonight they have only positive things to say about their experience at the same workplace. NBC also put out a statement to say anytime an employee has raised issues, they have been investigated and action has been taken when appropriate. The network says it's still incredibly proud of The Tonight Show and hopes employees continue to come forward if they have any other concerns. The head of Spain's soccer federation has now resigned over a controversial kiss. Luis Rubiales stepped down after facing criticism for kissing a player on the lips at the Women's World Cup final presentation ceremony, a kiss the player has said was not consensual. For weeks now, Rubiales has said the kiss was consensual and he refused to resign. But the World Cup winning team refused to play for the national team again while Rubiales was in the position. Now Rubiales says it's clear he's not able to continue his work during ongoing investigations. So he's taking the advice of friends and family and stepping aside. 2 tennis players made history at the U.S. Open over the weekend. First, 19-year-old Coco Gauff claimed victory, and that made her the youngest American to win the U.S. Open since Serena Williams in 1999. Then, Serbian Novak Djokovic won the U.S. Open on the men's side. And with that, he claimed a historic 24th major championship, matching Margaret Court for the most Grand Slam singles titles in tennis history. And at 36, Djokovic also became the oldest man to ever win the tournament. That's it for the main news, so now it's time for Money Monday, when we talk about one interesting money-related news story. But first, support for today's episode comes from Honeylove. Whether you're preparing for a wedding or other event, or just want to feel great in your everyday, Honeylove has the shapewear and beyond for you. And I'm speaking from personal experience. I have the best-selling Superpower shapewear from Honeylove, and I am so impressed by the fit and the effectiveness of this shapewear. Honeylove's targeted compression technology actually distinguishes between areas where you want more support and the areas you need less compression. In fact, our executive producer Emily has worn Honeylove even longer than me, and she said it best. Instead of just flattening you like some shapewear, Honeylove pulls in the waist without suffocating the rest of you. That's why she chose it for her wedding day, and we both choose Honeylove from now on. And by the way, I'm also a huge fan now of Honeylove's leggings. The Legging 2.0 are my new go-to for working out, running errands, working from home, travel, and more. They give this amazing, smooth, and sleek look, and they're really comfortable. So treat yourself to the best shapewear and leggings on the market and save 20% off at honeylove.com/newsworthy. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off honeylove.com/newsworthy. Now back to Money Monday. So it seems Beyoncé is causing a business boom. The Queen, as many call her, posted a message on her website in late August making a last-minute request to wear silver for her birthday for the last month of her Renaissance tour, so everyone will, quote, surround ourselves in a shimmering human disco ball each night. It sent many of her fans scrambling. For example, the week of the request, Etsy reported a 25% increase in searches for disco hats, as well as for silver blouses, corsets, and tops, compared to the week before. And many Etsy artists have described stocking up on silver fabrics and products, as well as marketing to Beyoncé's fans specifically, as they suddenly see these items become their best sellers by far. Of course, Beyoncé's fans aren't the only ones spending on concerts. We've talked before about Taylor Swift's Eras tour also boosting businesses. And perhaps it's linked to what's been dubbed post-pandemic revenge spending, where people have seemingly been splurging more on dining, travel, and experiences to make up for lost time. All right, thank you so much for listening today and every day. And if you're interested in getting ad-free episodes and some bonus episodes, as well as supporting the work we do here, join our insider community now. Simply go to thenewsworthy.com/insider for a 7-day free trial. No matter what, thank you so much for being here, listening, and supporting the show in whatever way you can. We are so grateful. All right, we'll be back with much more news to know tomorrow. For now, have a great day.